Good morning, good evening, and welcome to this week's Fiberific Live Craft and Chat, where we craft and chat live. We've got a bit of housekeeping to do. Not a lot. I've been really enjoying some of the feedback that I've been getting from the Tunisian crochet that we've been doing. So let me know in the chat how you've been going with it. I know Knitspin Girl, she not only went with it, but has completed all 4 of her washes and put them up on Ravelry. So that was awesome. Thank you, Tamantha. I've sent you through a request to use your photo on my pattern page thing on Ravelry. So when you next log into Ravelry, don't be surprised. This week is the 2nd Saturday of the month, I think it is. And if it is, that means that we will have our members only chat over on Discord at 10 a.m. So sort of this time, but in a couple of days time. So it's Thursday, 10 a.m. for me right now. So this time on my Saturday, we will have it. So if you're in the northern part of the world, it'll be Friday evening at this time. I would love to see your faces if you are channel members, coffee levels and above. So if you are a channel member, you can jump into those calls and hang out. And that's like a Zoom meeting. So the Discord thing is nearly identical to a Zoom meeting. So you can be on camera, we can sit there chatting, you can show me what you're working on, you can chat with each other. It's just a bit of hanging out for about an hour or so. So would love to see any of the channel members over there to hang out. Let me have a look in the chat here. Oh, okay. So because I put my chat there, it makes it so that I have to do the things there. So we've got Deb has jumped in. Good morning, Deb. So good to see you. Leanne's craft room is here. So good, so good. Sandy G has made it. Great to see you, Sandy. Leanne, I have to agree. It is a perfect autumn day here today, and it's just starting to warm up. I did have to put the fan on. But man, last night, I actually said when I was climbing into bed, I'm like, is there just a little chill in the air tonight? Like, it was lovely. It was so nice just to go to sleep. I woke up like in my blanket, like not like trying to escape the blanket, but like, I don't want to move. So that is my favorite kind of weather. Crochet with Claire popped by as she is on a bus trip, but she will catch that replay. Unfortunately, like Claire went live yesterday and I didn't realize that she was, and she sent me a message, but I was sort of in the car and I really couldn't do much, which was such a shame, but it looks like she got it sorted. So that is good. That is good. Bianca is here as well. Good morning, Bianca. Oh, Knitspin Girls Creations. Ooh, all right. I'll keep an eye out for that as well. Gabby's going to try and jump in as well. And Vampire has made it today. Good to see you, Vampire. Say hi to Artslog for us as well if he's home. In my cups, I have tea and I have water. I've decided not to get a third coffee for the day because I'm already walking around the house like a shark. Basically, my husband's working from home today and I didn't realize I was doing it until he mentioned, like, why are you making that noise? And I was like, what noise? And I was walking around the house going dum 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 as I was like getting things done before the stream. And I'm like, well, I'm a shark. You never know what I'm going to do. I could go over here and I could grab that. So, and then he ruined it. He ruined it in the age-old Leanne tradition of turning it into Shani Shark. And now it's ruined in my head. And I can't be a shark anymore. And it was unfortunate because I was very efficient as a shark. I got lots done, and just with the backing track of dum 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 dum, as I walked around the house. Okay, I know it's a little bit weird. I get it. It's just how my brain works. But now, unfortunately, that is dead, and that level of, because now it goes doo doo. It goes doom 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 doo 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 doo, and then my brain just it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Did work, now it doesn't work. So yeah, welcome to my house in the morning when I'm getting stuff done. Now I know we're going to have a look at doing some borders for our crochet face washes. But I needed a little break. Between you and me, I just need a little break, and I wanted to put them aside and just work on some of my other projects that I've got sort of laying around that I wanted to work on. And so we will circle back like a shark that's come under and touched you to see if you're food and not a boat. And we will circle back, and we'll get into those either next week or the week after. But I'd love to know, have you worked on the washer pattern, or have you, or are you planning on working on the washer pattern? And I've just realized literally this minute, I didn't upload the new version of the pattern that I've made. So I've got to get that done today too. So I'll do that after. Anyway, projects that I am working on today include this very washed out image of my crochet top. I don't know why that's so washed out. Let me just see if I can I fix this? Is there something I can do? You are just very washed out. The saturation is, anyway, the colors are just awful. Part of the problem is I can't get the Logitech software to work on my computer right now, and it's driving me a little bit insane. But anyway, it's this beautiful, like when I hold it very close, you can see how pretty the colors are working together, but it won't focus. Come on. Focus on that. There we go. Oh, no, it focused and then stopped focusing. Anyway, that's what I'm working on. And it's the Tide Pool top, just using this as the fabric rather than their very open fabric. Oh, actually, speaking of, I do have my close-up cam. Let's see if I can make it work. And we'll see if close-up time. No, that does no better on the colors. It makes it all yellow and washed out. But there you go. There you can see the stitches a bit better. I can actually just bring that over and just do that. So you know, it's still a little bit washed out. It's can I fix the temperature on that? There we go. That's probably, that's pretty close to realistic. It's a little soft, maybe. I'm like, it's a little softly focused. Probably has a lot more to do with the fact that the lens was dirty than anything else. But there we go. So that's what I'm working on. Plus also my hat in my beautiful Colson wool. So this is the Musselbrook hat. They're the two projects that I'm planning on working on today. So yeah, so we'll move that aside. Francis says, I don't use washers, so I won't be making it, but I am using the honeycomb stitch in a scarf. Well, that is awesome. That is awesome. I love that even though the washers aren't your jam, that you've still found a use for it. Bob says, hi to everyone just lurking today as I a PZ King. I don't know what a PZ King is. I definitely don't understand part of that. All right, that needs to move over there. Oh, the purple is like a legit mess. It's a legit mess. Let me just see if there's anything I can do at all to make it less like a dumpster fire. Probably not, considering this is the other end. I thought that was the other end over there, but that's just schmozzle. Like it's a mess. We'll get through it. We'll use it up. Oh, Francis has got big news. You've got to share. If you're gonna say big news, you've got to share the big news, Francis. You can't leave us hanging. Can't leave us hanging. Results from the oil. Oh, you're packing, Bob. Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Just going in here. Just got to get back into the jam of this. It's been a bit since I've worked on it at all. So there we go. What I might do, I might, There we go. Bring that over to the middle a bit more. All right. Yeah, the Logitech software, just like every time I open it on my computer, it's just this swirly of nothing, right? It just sits there with its little purple Logitech screen doing legit nothing. I have to uninstall it and then reinstall it, but I only get to use it once before I have to uninstall it and reinstall it again. And it is driving me insane. Like, to the point where if I need a new camera, I'm seriously considering something other than Logitech. Like, that's where I'm at right now. And you know, I've got, like, I posted some things on Facebook, and you know, like, I've been having some problems with my Logitech mouse and the computer. I had to actually, like, disconnect it and reconnect it. Like, I shouldn't have to do this stuff, right? And their software is just not updating for the Mac, and it's just doing my head in. It really is. And it's like, I'm not like I wouldn't consider myself a heavy user of some of this stuff, but yeah, it just does me insane. Now we've got the results in. Comeback results. Frances got a first with her art yarn and a third on her 8-ply equivalent for spinning in the Royal Easter Show. Is it the Sydney Royal Easter Show? That is massive. That's massive. That's one of the biggest events that you can enter. Congratulations, Frances. That is so cool. That is so cool. Hi, Samantha. If you're coming in late, you will have missed what I'm working on. So I am working on the Tide Pool t-shirt right now, but I am using linen stitch rather than their suggested stitch, just because it's a bit too open for what I want. And so this will make it a heavier top, but it will be a lovely top all the same. Plus also, when I need a little knitting break, when my hands need a little break, I've got my Musselbrook hat that I'm still going on. So that is there also. I will say I'm actually quite disappointed with how this camera's looking. And I just cannot do anything about it right now, I think. Let me just see if I can just install it again. I did uninstall it. So let's look for Logi Tune, I think it is. No. Maybe I actually deleted the installer as well. I don't usually delete the installer too, because there's no update. That's Logi Options installer. Logi Options. Yeah, I'll have to go in and reinstall the whole software again. I must have just been so grumpy at it, I just uninstalled everything. So yeah, so I'm very sorry. It's a little bit meh, really. But we got the face cam working this time though. I worked out what was going on with that. And that was when we had the ants in the camera and I was having to constantly, like, disconnect it from its mount behind the teleprompter and you know, get the ants out with the compressed air and be careful with it and spray around it and all that sort of stuff. I'd accidentally bumped a couple of settings, and the thing was, I was checking one setting and it was just like, no, this one's right, why is this? But what it was is I'd accidentally bumped two settings, and so it was the combination of bumping both settings that was the problem. So hopefully that's all fixed up now, so that's doing my head in less. But now we've just got to get this Logitech sorted. So I'd really love to have another option for a better hands down camera. You know, like there's options out there, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Mel says, hi, all, completely forgot the time change due to daylight savings until right now. It's great to see you, Mel. Yeah, was it last weekend that all the southern states changed back over to normal time? So yeah, so it will be a little disconcerting for a few people, like that I've started a bit earlier, but I'm glad you made it. Glad you made it. So for those that are channel members, just as a reminder that this Saturday, if I've got the Saturday things right, which it should be the second Saturday of the month, let me know if I'm incorrect, the second Saturday of the month, then we will be having our channel members chat over on Discord, but that is for channel members of coffee levels and above. So ad skippers don't actually get access to those calls. Oh, Leanne, thank you for putting up that Buy Me a Coffee link. I very much appreciate it. There we go. Getting that stitch in there. It's taken me a little second to get back in the groove of this, let me tell you. I really don't like how washed out this is looking. This looks fine. My skin tone looks right. It's just the yarn. The yarn looks pretty. It's not washed out. Yes, Sunday. Oh, it was last weekend? Yep. But you still made it on time, Spin Girls. It's so cool. You're like, you totally forgot about the time zone things, but you still made it. So that is very, very cool. Yeah, Queensland hasn't had daylight savings for a really long time. I remember they trialed it when I was a kid, and there was a lot of dissatisfaction amongst the children. We were having discussions about how it's not fair that we're being sent to bed and the sun is still up. Because even without daylight savings, it can be still quite light at around 7 in the midst of summer. So for us, it was just like, well, it's just annoying. It's just annoying. It's like 8:30 bedtime and the sun was still up. So yeah, it was. I do remember those conversations. And my mum having to put like thick curtains in our bedroom so that she could black out as much of the sunlight as she could, so we could actually go to sleep. So yeah, it just doesn't work here. So it paints the curtains, Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. And the cows can't tell the time when there's some ridiculous reasons as to not have daylight savings, but like from the perspective of the sun's still up here quite late anyway. Like, do we really want the sun out at 8:30 at night when you're trying to relax? Like, no. And It's Been Girl says my daughter's bunnies were very unimpressed when dinner was an hour late. Yeah, animals sort of. I know that like our cats, more so than the. I mean, it doesn't mean that Louis can't tell the time, but he was quite often razzed by the cats to go and harass us for dinner. Like, go and tell her at 6 o'clock. Go on, she doesn't listen to us, but she'll listen to you, Louis. Go and stand on her. And I could imagine that they would be very unimpressed if the time zones changed and all of a sudden we're feeding them at what feels like 7 o'clock to them. I don't know if I would probably just move their feeding time an hour forward, just because they would hurt me. It would be a safety issue. Oh dear, pets are hilarious. I love pets. And it's so hard because sometimes we lose our beloved pets, but I still love pets. Like, I still love having them around, and it's worth the loss and the heartache down the track, I think. So it's a tough one. We definitely would like another cat, but we just don't know if we want another kitten. Do you know what I mean? Like, when we got Jazzy, she was already a 2-year-old cat. So we got her from a rescue. And Tibbles we got as a brand new fluffy kitten. Then Macy we got as a brand new fluffy kitten. But I think, and Tibbles is now 15, I think, or 16. I can't. He just had a birthday, and I can't remember which one he turned. I think he just turned 16. Abby will let me know when she can overhear me. But yeah, it's definitely it's awkward. It's hard. Vampy says, my cat. Sorry, Francis says my cat tells the time by when I get home from work. He was very hungry by the time I got home on Monday. It's like, why are you so late? Kelly Pole is in the chat. Great to see you, Kelly. Goodness me. So yeah, so lots happening, lots going on in the background and stuff here. I've been battling what feels like, I feel like I've been getting a cold, honestly. Do you know when you get that throat tickle thing? And I've been battling it for a couple of days now. And I'm really hoping that this is the worst of it, if that makes any sense. Oh, also Holly Alderson, I missed you coming in as well. And Molly, great to see you. Great to see you. Oh no, Francis's internet's being a butt face. And we don't even have a Louis cam today because Abby's home and she's in her bed and just hanging out, you know, on her phone, what have you. So therefore Louis hanging with her because she's obviously more interesting than me. So, and then Tim's working from home today as well. So everyone's home. So it's an interesting dynamic in the background here. So yeah. Very, very good. Look, I've been watching a new show this week. I've not really been in the brain mindset for many new shows lately, but I decided to watch a new show this week called Bondsman. Kevin Bacon is in it, and I have been enjoying it. I'm up to the final episode of the season, and I think if you are into supernaturally kind of shows, but also like it's quite lighthearted as well, like at the same time. I've been enjoying it. Like I don't like dark shows as such. And probably at this stage I wouldn't consider it a dark show. And the other show that I've watched the first episode of, and I'm looking forward to the next one, is something called The Residence. I think that's over on Netflix. I think that might be on Netflix. I'm not sure. I have to double check. And that one's been quite interesting for a first episode. Very much like what is going on here? What is going on here? Bianca says, I watched the first episode and decided it's not for me. Okay, fair enough, Bianca. And Molly says that the Bondsman was very quirky. Yeah, I think that's the best description for it. It's I wouldn't say it's like light, but in the supernaturally themed stuff it is. That first episode was pretty full on. Vampy says our oldest son has taken 3 weeks leave while work isn't super busy. His boomy voice pops in every now and again and every now and then while he's home. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? You're just like, oh, wait, what's that noise? It's a different sound than I'm used to through the day. But yeah, Residence it's a quirky, and quirky is definitely the word I'd use to describe it so far. Detective drama. The premise is that someone gets murdered in the White House and a police detective consultant comes in to work on it. And because I'm not going to give anything away, I want you to go and watch it. Go and watch it if you can. And it's just really, it's an interesting style of shooting a show for a start. And yeah, I don't know. I like it so far. I've watched one episode, so that's a pretty early call. I normally don't do a call until I've watched like 3 episodes. So far, I'm enjoying it. Um, go. The next color is blue. Okay, so then we do that. Alrighty, I've changed colors and I'm on to the next row. This is going to be, it's called The Residence, the quirky detective show. Like off the top of my head, I'm thinking Netflix, but I'd have to double check. I'm not actually entirely certain. So I've been enjoying that one as well. I have gotten hooked into another channel on YouTube, which is hilariously not me, but it's called Matt's Off-Road 4x4. And it is, they go and around, mostly around Utah, but I've seen them go a little bit further afield. They go and get vehicles stuck in mud, the dirt off the side of mountains, and they sort of like they make their own rescue vehicles, or that, well, not so much make, but they work on, they sort of adjust other vehicles so that they can handle the terrain and be the rescue vehicles. Anyway, I'm not a car person, but I've been really enjoying it, and they've got like, and part of what I think I enjoy about it is it's a family operation for a start, and they get like, they've got lots of friends and stuff involved, so it's not just like one guy that you just follow around. There's an entire crew of people, and you might be on a ride along with one team or a different team, or but if it's a big job, that's usually got Matt there as well, and he's overseeing stuff. But it's just it's really fun. And I watched this one last night, finished it this morning, where they were told it was a job that couldn't be done. And they're like, well, that's actually our specialty, is those jobs that other people, that look like they're too difficult. But it ended up being this massive drama, and not because the job was hard, but it was because of what someone else had done, like to the vehicle. Like they were supposed to be going out to a vehicle that could be towed, and they get there and someone had stripped it for parts and like actually cut it into pieces. And so they didn't have a trailer because they were, off the grid, and they were basically climbing up the sides of mountains. But because they spoke like, and this is the thing, they get approval from like forestry and insurance companies and all sorts of stuff to go and do these retrievals. But yeah, it was just really fun. Yeah, they do. They take up the challenge. And sometimes they're just things like, there was one I watched the other day where there was a sedan that was on a road that a sedan should absolutely have not been on. And, they got him out and stuff like that. And the other thing that I love is that at no point are they negative towards the drivers. Like, they're always really super kind and positive, and like sometimes they're concerned, but then they're not negative. And because you guys know how I feel about negative content, I don't like negative content. And so I've just been like, I didn't think it's kind of like the lawn mowing stuff for me, right? It's like, I did not expect that I would enjoy it. It doesn't seem like something that I would enjoy. Even my husband's like, oh no, next thing you know, you're going to be watching Seven Mate. This is the kind of content you'd find on Seven Mate. And I was just like, you leave me alone. But yeah, I don't know, I've been enjoying it. Something a bit different, a bit of a change. Because I was watching, like, I got served a new lawn care episode. And the thing that bugged me was how they kept going on about how bad this lawn was and how, like, what are these yard owners thinking letting it get like to this? And, you know, like really negative towards the people. Whereas some of the other yard people, I'm like, they'll like, you know, oh, when was the last time it was mowed? You know, is there anything I need to know about it? But, and like they get the information, but they're in no way like negative, like this was the worst yard ever. And this was so, you know, this was, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it was like, this one was a bit negative. And I'm like, and this is supposed to be one of like the sort of, you know, inspiration for a lot of these other channels that go and do this stuff. So I'm sort of sitting here thinking, why would anyone let you mow their lawn if you're just gonna, like, when you're not on camera with them, like when it's just them talking to each other, they're just disparaging you. Like, why would you do that? Like, sure, you know what? You can be thinking it and you can be talking about it to your boys, but don't put that bit in the video. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, that bugged me, so I stopped watching that one. Because I like the ones that are just about adding positivity and helping people out and being kind to them and stuff like that. So, yeah, yeah. What kind of weird, like, content that you found surprising that you watch, like TV shows or movies or like YouTube channels? What's something that you watch that, you know, when people find out they're like really surprised or it's just an unusual thing? Um, Leanne says it's weird what we watch but wouldn't do ourselves. I enjoy the king crab catchers and the dudes that dredge the waterways with those huge magnets. Which is fascinating. Oh, they are so fun. Like when they're like, oh, I guess this is going to be such and such a thing, and then they pull it out and it's like some random thing that you just would never have thought of. Yeah, Bianca says lots of people love the negatives. I know, but like, why would anyone allow you onto their property to mow their lawn or solve their problem if you're going to be like nasty about it? Kelly says, I love watching people make cosplay costumes. I love seeing how they are made. There's so much ingenuity to cosplay costumes because not only do they need to look nice, they have to survive being, you know, worn. They've got to be able to make it all day kind of thing, or even all weekend, or even longer. Hey, Sal, great to see you. Francis says, I like the cat blooper videos. Oh, there's some cat videos that just crack me up so much. Oh, Mel, that is SB Mowing. He was fantastic. I've been watching SB Mowing for a long time. And so he's a garden cleanup guy, and he went to help a lady out with her garden, and then found out her story and her situation, and it was just so heartbreaking for him and his wife that they actually started a GoFundMe. They raised nearly $1 million for this lady, and they've just literally like, I think I watched a video the other day where it took them a little bit to work out how to get it into a trust that her family couldn't touch, so that they could make sure she was getting the medical care and all the stuff that she needed. But yeah, so, and like, and not just like, oh, here's some money, bye, but like, while he's a garden guy, they actually went in and helped her, you know, they took her shopping for a new bed and, you know, all this sort of stuff. So yeah, the heart, see, that's the thing, Mel, isn't it? It's the heart behind it. It's the heart behind it. Oh, Sal, it's all good. It is all good. The Game Widows loves those drain clearing videos. I've been watching these, I think the plumbers down in Sydney. I think it's Sydney. What are they called? But I've just been watching them mostly on Instagram, and they're funny. But they came back from something and found that someone had broken into their workshop and stolen some of their bigger equipment. So they've been like, they're covered by insurance, but they've still got to go through and all the hoops and everything. But it's just like, so these people who solve problems for people, they get their gear nicked because like there was a massive storm. But yeah, that was just ridiculous. Mel says, I love Matt Armstrong who rebuilds crashed supercars. That's so cool. Yeah, I like a lot of these channels that that go in and like one of the things I like about Matt's 4x4 off-road is he's not buying brand new vehicles and converting them into what he needs for these off-road recoveries. They get really old, like super reliable trucks and cars and get them up onto the big wheels so that they can go over the terrain. And so they're pulling, like they're using like recycled stuff. And I love it. I think it's awesome. Yeah. Just, yeah, it's just been, it's just awesome. Oh, Sal likes those people who go through buying those storage containers and going through them, but it's not storage. I know the ones you mean, yeah. I was actually looking at a thumbnail of one this morning where they bought one and then got more than they bargained for and had to call the cops. That's just a thumbnail basically, so I didn't watch it. But Game Widow says that there was one where the drain was blocked by cane toads. Oh my gosh, that would be stressful. I just need to move this camera. I know, I need to move it the other way because I am pulling it towards myself. Oh dear. But yeah, no, there's lots of fun shows out there. And what I love, right, is that how many of us are in here right now? 24 in here right now, 12 likes. And out of the 24 of us, while we definitely have overlap, hello, you're all here. There's so many other shows and movies and YouTube channels and stuff that we just all enjoy that are just so different. And I think that's just, I actually think it's pretty cool that there's so much out there for us to watch that we can find this stuff. See you later, Francis. Drive well. Drive safely, I mean. Not drive well. Drive well as well. But yeah, just going through and finding all these cool shows and something a bit different to watch. My brain's not always ready for a new show. Does anyone else's brain just sometimes just want a rerun of something that they've happily watched before? I'm currently on a rerun of Blue Healers on Prime Video, which I'm actually loving. I'm actually loving it. So I think I'm up to about season, I don't know, 4 or 5. See. And this is like, these are old school seasons, right? This is when they made 40 episodes a year. Like not 20, not 13, not 8. This is 40 and upwards of 40 episodes a year. Like there are some where there's like 44 episodes in this season. And, you know, it's just one of these things where you just like, you hear actors now where they're like, oh, you know, we're a bit burnt out from doing, you know, this many seasons a year. Now, obviously, there's probably differences in what they're doing. I don't know how long a day these people were expected on set of shows where they were like 40 episodes a year kind of thing. But I can't imagine it was that short. So let's have a look here. I did watch videos on YouTube from the people who live off-grid in Alaska and then do monthly grocery hauls to Costco. I love a lot of the off-grid shows, like the off-grid channels. And I just really enjoy them. And I was out there watching one the other day. It was a new one I hadn't seen before. I don't really get into it. I like that one. I'm like, yeah, no. And Tim's come out and he was just like, yes, you watch a lot of these sorts of shows, like, even though this is stuff we wouldn't do. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still interesting, right? Also, I think especially during summer when I'm really melting and hot, I like it when they're like doing winter in Alaska. Deb says, I've been reading books about the end of the world as we know it type books. Oh, dystopian future world. They're a bit scary. They're a bit scary, especially when they're hitting a bit close to home. There is something comforting about a well-loved show. Yeah, there is. There it is. Leanne says, I don't like watching one season show because if it's great, I'm a baby and don't want to wait. Oh, you mean like if there's only a season out on a show and you want to binge it? Is that what Vampy says we've just started rewatching Buffy. Oh, how is that? Hold up. I haven't tried to rewatch Buffy yet. I'm not sure how it would hold the test of time. Not all shows do. It's acknowledging that not everything we watch has to be intellectual. No, sometimes we can just watch stuff so we can like I have things on in the background so I can focus on other stuff. You know, like I'm doing other things and I want to be able to focus on that. And sometimes the shows are fantastic for helping me with that. Deb says sometimes I'll pop a movie on just because it's a familiar movie. Yeah. Like, hello, I can't tell you how many times I've got a pile of movies that Gerard Butler has done. So Geostorm, what's the one where he's in the submarine? Man, I can't think of it. Hunter Killer. And you know, the angel, the what is it? It's the Fallen series. So Angel has fallen, the White House has fallen, like all those kinds of shows. There's some pretty good go-tos that I get into for movie watching. Constantine is another one that I love, like the Keanu Reeves Constantine. I've heard rumors that there's a second movie coming. I'll be so happy if that happens. I don't know if there is a second movie coming, but from what I've noticed, I think it's currently being written. I think that's what's happening. Anyway, let's have a look here. Oh, the chat really jumped. I'm slowly reading through the Fourth Wing series up to book 2. I've heard about the Fourth Wing series. I haven't read any of it. But I really need to. Oh, Leanne says, yeah, no, one season shows me. Yeah. I find it frustrating. Like you just get sucked into a show and then you look up and you're just like, I don't mind if it's the first season and it's, you know, the next season's coming, but I get frustrated when it's like, oh no, they cancelled it and this is it. And you're just like, oh, really? Holly says, I enjoy non-Earth dystopian books. Interesting. Sal says I need to rewatch season 1 of The Last of Us before the second one comes out. I went in to try and rewatch Daredevil, so before the new season came out, but it's out. I've got to quickly finish rewatching the first 2 seasons of Daredevil. But I'm not avoiding spoilers or anything like that. And I really do love that they rebooted a show or continued a show on, like picked a show back up, and they kept the cast. Like, I thought that was very cool because like it would have been so easy for them to go, well, no, let's do something else. But they didn't. And I really appreciate that. So many shows cancelled after their first season that were just too good to be cancelled. I agree. And then they keep other shows and you're just like, really? Really, that's what you went with? I find that all very frustrating. Let me catch up here. I love audiobooks while driving and doing mundane housework. Yep. Um, I've spent a lot of time with Skyrim on in the background being played by the teenagers. That'll do it. I used to Discworld audio books as background noise. I know them so well I can pick up at any point and follow. That's awesome. There's oh yeah, that's one I just read before. I think the fans would be so angry if they recast the Daredevil, and because it was so recent, right? It was only what 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Um, so yeah, I just it would be a bit shocking. And one thing is like apparently the action scenes are a lot bigger in the new season, and it's because they've got a better. Apparently, it's because they've got a much better budget, and so they're able to do some of the stuff that they weren't able to do originally when it was the net. It was I think it's Disney now. I don't even know. I don't even know. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool because I really enjoyed it. It had an interesting storyline to it. It took me a little bit to realize what was going on. So, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's probably a little. It's on the border for gruesome for me, if that makes sense. Like that, they're pretty heavy action scenes. Like I haven't seen any of the new stuff. This is the old stuff I'm talking about. Like as in like lots of like biffo action, and it's probably on the border for me, so I'm not sure how I'll go with the new season if they've amped that up. Like if they've just amped up the action as in they're doing better stunts, that's different. But if it's just like more like heading towards the gruesome levels of the boys, then I'll probably be out. Like it's a step too far for me. I want to love the boys, I really do, but I can't watch it. But I can love the idea of it. And I love that it's like, I love it when they pick up shows from comic books. There's just something different about them than when they pick up a show from like a novel. Anyway, interesting. I like it. Season 2 was a bit too violent for you, Holly. Yeah, it was. It's definitely borderline for me. There were some episodes where I was like looking away a bit more often than others, so I have concerns for like whether the violence, if whether it's more violent or whether it's just more action. Like I like action. Action's cool. I like cool stunts and I like all that sort of stuff. But if it's just gruesome and violent, I'll probably be out. But I don't know yet. I haven't watched it. I have a sip of my tea. Yes. Over here working away. Now I'm actually working on another version of the Tide Pool top, but and I'm doing it to the pattern this time as well. But because of the yarns that I'm using, it's got to stay put. So basically, I'm using let's see if I can bring this in. I'm using 3 strands from cones. Let's go close up time. And so this is how the yarn is from the 3 strands from the cones. Come on. So we've got like a brighter green cotton, a textured knobbly cream, and then the pink one is actually variegated, so it changes from pinks to purples, and peaches. There's a pink, a peach, and a purple in the same yarn. So that's just all held together and worked with a 3 mil hook. I think I've got a 3 mil hook going on it. So like the 3 of those together next to 4-ply Bendigo cotton. So let me just add a bit of twist in there to give you an indication. So that's how fine these are, but they're on big cones, so I don't want to lug them around. But because of the because this yarn, this pink changes colors, the groups of the trebles change, so they go from like purples to peaches to pinks. So it's creating a really beautiful fabric. I mean, I could go and get it. If you guys want to see it, I could go and grab it, or I can just grab a photo and see if there's a. Actually, I may have already grabbed a photo. Let me see. In my Google Photos, let's go back over to the other camera angle. We'll see if we can find one, because I actually really like it. I was nearly going to work on that one, but I was just like, oh, then I've got to bring in all the yarn. Let me just see if I can find one in my Google Photos. Oops. Oh, it says I'm signed out. Can I sign in without any hassles? Give me a second. How long have I been crocheting for? About 20 years. Maybe a little longer, but around 20 years. Alrighty, let me see if I can find photos. I think the problem that I was having, there we go. Let me do a, can I screen share that? I just make you big and then go to, alrighty, screen share. Nope, that's not it. There we go. Oh. Don't allow. Okay, so that's how it's looking. See how the colors are changing there? You've got like it moving from the pinks and the purples and the greens. Sometimes the green is brighter. Yeah, so I'm liking how it's looking. I've got about double that now. I'm like starting to measure it to see when I'm ready to start the next piece. But I like the texture as well. I'm really happy with how it's looking. So let me know in the chat. I can always go and grab it, but that's about how it's looking. The photo's probably not the best quality, but that's where we're at. Back up here. Pop that over there. And then come back here. My live streams are about 2 hours usually. Depends. Thereabouts on this channel, they're usually about the 2 hours. Let me bring that back in. But you know these answers already, Samantha. You've been here before. Oh, Bianca, thank you. Oh, it's going to be this one of these tops. So it's a tide pool top as well. But I decided that I wanted to do one to the pattern. You know, I felt guilty that my first go with the pattern was like me going, yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. Thanks for that, but I'm going to do a totally different stitch. I'm just going to take your shape. So I thought, no, I'll go in and actually do the top as well. And it's also much, much lighter. Hey, John O'Brien, great to see you in the chat. So yeah, it's definitely different. It's definitely different. Samantha, I'm doing fine. I'm fighting a cold. I don't know if I'm winning yet. My throat is not happy. And I'm using a 3mm hook, clover hook. Yeah, nah. That's right. That means no in Australian. Yeah, nah, nah, yeah means yes. Oh, did I forget a chain there? I did. So I thought, you know what? I've got all this coned yarn, and it was a project. I went through and swatched a pile of different colors together, and went through and, you know, like, because I used to be a pretty avid machine knitter. So I've got a lot of stuff for the knitting machines. Like, I've got 2 whole cubes, 2 Kallax cube baskets just full of cones of yarn. And I'm pretty good at being able to fit those up, fit a lot into those baskets, is what I'm trying to say. Excuse me, sorry. And yeah, so I thought, you know, it's cotton, it's viscous, it's super lightweight. Because the problem is, like, if I was making that top with this cotton, even doing it in their pattern, it would still be quite weighty, and then I would need to wear like an undertop, like a something under it anyway. And it's very hot and humid here, so wearing multiple layers is sort of like, you only do that if you've got no options. And so I wanted a version where I don't need multiple layers, which is what this version is. And then the other version will be good for layering because it's super light, as well as it's very open, so it will need that other layer. Knitspin Girl says, not working on a pattern exactly as written. Don't know what you mean. Currently knitting sock number what of Moody that I still haven't used the stitch pattern. Oh, it is kind of funny, isn't it? Where, like, I actually just really like the shape, and I want to make it like that, but not quite like that. And that's look, you know what? That is the magic of us making our own things. We don't have to follow the pattern. Now, admittedly, if we go off pattern, you cannot expect a designer to give you pattern support. Like, I'm not kidding. Don't even. Because, like, I've seen some of the things that get sent through to designers about pattern support, and it's like, oh yeah, I bought your pattern and I've decided to do this and this, which is like the exact opposite. And I can't make it work. How do I make it work? And the designers are like, well, I've designed it this other way and you would do it like this. Oh yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to do it this way. So how do I make that work? And it's just like, really? Really? And just the entitlement. Like, if you happen to know a designer and you go, hey, mate, when you've got a chance, I've gone a bit off-roading with your pattern here. I'd love some help if you can give it, but totally understand if it's not, you know, like, you can ask, but you can ask in a way that is not demanding and like entitled. Because if you go off-road on someone's pattern, you are no longer entitled to their support. Like, as far as I'm concerned, like that might be a bit of a hot take, but if you go off-road, if you don't use the yarn that they've suggested and you don't use the needles that they've suggested, you can't complain when it doesn't fit, right? It's different yarns are chosen for a reason, like, and it's not just whether it's worsted or not worsted or whatever. If you choose, like for me, I'm a big changer of yarns. I change yarns all of the time. Part of it is because all of the yarns that American designers use not available in Australia, or not available in the quantities at the prices that we have to pay, right? Like Red Heart Super Saver in Australia is not inexpensive. So I will quite often change, and I will quite often change to a natural fiber because I prefer natural fibers, like especially cottons and linens and flax and stuff, like things that make garments lightweight, right, and breathable. But that's going to change more than just, like, even if I got the exact same meterage with the exact same, I got the exact same gauge when I did my testing and all that sort of stuff. Changing the fiber content is going to change how that fabric drapes, how it holds its shape. Like, there's so many things that change when you change the yarn. And even if you change to like a different yarn construction, I remember a friend of mine many years ago, she was making this big cardigan out of worsted weight yarn. And I was just like, oh my God, that's going to weigh an absolute ton. And she was like, well, no, actually the pattern called for this particular yarn, which is like a tube with blown cotton into it. And it just meant it was all soft and fluffy and lightweight. And I was just like, wow. And she goes, oh yeah, I would never have made this if I wasn't using this yarn. It just would have been too heavy. So, sometimes there's reasonings for particular things. And whether, I mean, quite often I can't afford the yarns that are suggested and I've got to go off-road. But then I can't go off at the designer if me going off-road has changed anything up. And it's not the designer being not inclusive or anything like that. They cannot be expected to design in a yarn that every single individual person from however many countries in the world can get their hands on. It's just how it is sometimes. Sometimes you just have to accept that you miss out on that thing. And I think there's so many people now that don't like missing out on stuff. Sorry, I've just got to reorient my yarns here. That they forget that sometimes you do just have to miss out. It doesn't matter where you're from or, whatever. If you can't get access to a particular yarn for whatever reason, then you just miss out on that yarn. You go and do something else, and it just means you may end up with something different. That's all it is. There's nothing wrong with missing out. Sometimes you just have to move on. And it's okay. It's okay. Bianca says, I've actually never made anything using the yarn suggested for a pattern. There you go. John says, currently on the couch under half a ton of Red Heart Super Saver. John, I'd love to know what is like the average price you're paying for Red Heart Super Saver in the US, and if somebody in Australia can just jump in and dig around and find one of the Australian sellers who are selling Red Heart Super Saver, and we'll see if we can compare it. I mean, right now the Aussie dollar is totally in the toilet, so buying anything out of America is near impossible since the recent stock market. And so that is, I will say I'm quite happy that some of my clients currently pay me in US dollars. Like, that's been nice. But paying for anything in US dollars is very painful right now. I highly recommend holding off if you can. Let's have a look. Could you share your formula for yarn substitution? It's so difficult. I don't have a formula for yarn substitution. I really don't. there's no hard and fast rules either. So there's actually a yarn substitution website that's quite helpful. I think it's called yarnsubstitution.com or yarnsub.com, something like that. But I just accept that mine's going to be different. That's really what it boils down to. I just accept that the decisions I make are going to make my thing different. You want to make sure that, like, obviously getting gauge is the easier part, but you've got to make sure that the pattern that you're using. Oh, thank you, Kelly. She's throwing the yarnsub.com up for me. If the pattern that you're using is using something like a chain plied yarn, or like a chainette yarn rather than twisted yarn, it's going to be different. So John's currently paying anywhere from $3 to $6 per I know they're not balls, but you know what I mean, per ball of the Red Heart Super Saver. I think last time I looked, we were looking at about 15 to 18 Australian dollars. And our dollar's not awesome, but it's better than that. Like, I think $6 US is about 10 Australian dollars. I can't use my phone right now. Oh, no, that one won't work either because it's connected to stuff. AUD to USD. Last time I looked, it was about 60 cents. Oh, it's gone up overnight. That's nice. It's 61 cents. So say if we go $4.50 US, so in the middle there, is $7.30 Australian, right? But we're not paying $7.30. Isabel Crafts has popped in here. Is that about how much we're paying for Red Heart Super Saver, Isabel? Yeah. So, because right now, if $4.50 US is $7.30 Australian, Vampire says it's about 14 Australian dollars per ball before shipping. There you go. Holly says, I wanted to ask a group question. I'm planning on knitting a garter stitch blanket, and I was planning on holding worsted weight yarn with fingering weight yarn. Do you think that would equal to a chunky? So a worsted weight's about a 10, a fingering weight is about a 4. So it'd come out to around a 16 ply, which I think is more of a bulky than a chunky, but you'd need to check that on a, you'd need to check that. Bianca says, oh yeah, Isabel says that she's looking at a site and it's $11 Australian. Bianca's looking at another site that's saying 13 Australian. Vampire's saying it's about 14. Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to where you're buying it. But yeah, it's definitely not even just an exchange rate thing. It's also because they've had to pay extra postage to get it in the country. So yeah. It might even be a super bulky rather than a chunky. But it could also depend on the two different yarns that you're holding together. I would do I'd do a gauge swatch and test it out. Our import tax is ridiculously high. We have GST, so if stores order anything over 1,000 Australian dollars as it comes in the border, anything that comes in gets general sales tax, and then customs duties go on top of that, which are ridiculous. Let me say they're normally about another 5%. So we get that just on top of it. Plus, usually the countries that are exporting it to Australia charge us in US dollars, and then so is the freight is charged in US dollars as well. So yeah, it's just a bit ouchy, and it's not even just a recent thing. That's always been an issue. So yeah. Um, uh, I've used Yarn Sub. I thought I'd seen where you look at the meterage of what the original designer uses and try to find the equivalent. Yeah, I do that. I try to find the equivalent in the meterage, but it's if you're not, if I've, like, say I found a designer and her pattern calls for like 120 meters of cotton and I've per 50 grams, and I find something that's 120 meters per 50 grams of wool, that's going to change how the pattern is constructed and how it's going to sit and how it's going to wear. And if I, 120 meters of cotton versus 120 meters of cotton that is actually chainette rather than twist, again, going to change everything. So you've really, like, there's it depends on how close you're trying to get. It does. It really depends on how close you're trying to get. Now, if you're going wool to wool, everything's plied, and it's just two different suppliers and very similar, that should be fine. Or even cotton to cotton, everything's plied or everything's chainette, whatever it is. If they're very similar constructions as well as very similar meterages, it should be fine. But if you start changing the construction, like it's not just plied anymore, it's, something else, it is going to change some stuff. John says, this white skein that I have here says made in Turkey, so it'll probably be going up. Possibly. Most yarns are made in Turkey, Italy, and China. So not a lot that is made locally here in Australia, or I believe there's not very many locally made where every step is locally made in the US. Like even our Bendigo cotton here, this stuff here, right? All over it. Labels say made in Australia, blah, 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 blah. Nope, I don't have a label. But Bendigo is like Australian company, Australian mill, blah, 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 blah. The cotton is shipped out of the country for milling. The wool is shipped out of the country for scouring. Now it's shipped back for spinning and plying and dyeing, but it does leave the country. And it's like, while the 100% Australian cotton is used to make this, it is milled elsewhere, So there's always things to remember, like that just because something is 100%, Australian cotton doesn't mean it didn't go out of the country and back into the country to get created. And I think that's something similar that's happening in the US as well. People are realizing that while they've got an American brand where it's, parts of it are done in America, other parts of it are done in other countries. And not everything's done locally. So, which is pretty common, especially in the yarn industry. It's pretty common to have the parent company may be on shore and may ship from that company's headquarters or wherever, but possibility of it actually coming from another country first is pretty high. John O'Brien said, saw Australian lamb in the grocery store yesterday. I was tempted. Oh man, I can't afford Australian lamb. It's pretty pricey. Every now and again we'll get something. Get like a roast lamb or something like that when they're on special. But yeah, it is. Look, I will say the quality of Australian meat, from what I hear, is pretty highly regarded around the world. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that. And all our best stuff gets exported. But all our less than best stuff is still pretty dang good. Like, let's be honest. Game Widow says, then there's me with my hand spun with its variable textures, much guessing and experimenting. Absolutely. Bianca says red meat has gone up so much recently. Oh, I know. It's just really sad. I was reading because apparently American McDonald's imports Australian beef to make all their beef patties with. I didn't realize that, but apparently that's a big thing over there. I knew that Australian McDonald's used all Australian beef, but I thought it was like they would use their local country's beef, so I didn't realize it was like they just like ours. But I was like reading this thing where they were talking about, someone was like, well, you know, maybe this will make it so that Australians can afford Australian beef if we can't export to, you know, the US anymore. Can you explain the stitch that you're doing? Yeah, this is just a linen stitch. So it's a single crochet and then a chain one and then a single crochet, and I'm just working into the previous row's chain ones. And I'm just doing 3 colors, so I just change colors at the end of each row. On this initial row, I chained like 11 billion stitches. I think it's in my Ravelry project how many I chained. God, I hope it is, because I can't remember off the top of my head, and I'll need it for the other side to make it match. And then I worked into every second one for that first row. But yeah, this is just a stock standard crochet linen stitch. Nothing tricky, nothing special about it. But it does make a really nice fabric, I will say. I like the fabric it creates. Like, so I'm using, it's like the equivalent of a 4-ply or fingering, well, I'd say light fingering weight cotton, and it just and the 3mm hook, and it just creates this really nice soft fabric. I'm like, can I see through it? Not really. A little bit. Like, I can see that it's light, but I can't like see the matter. Oh, if I hold it right up to my eyes, I can. Not that we're doing that. Why did I do that? I don't know why I did that. That's weird. So yeah. But it's very yarn hungry, and it takes a long time because it's very small stitches. But I love the look. So I'm persevering. I would like to make a baby blanket like that. Absolutely, you could. I think it would make a beautiful baby blanket for sure. One thing I will say is, with how I'm making the yarn travel, where is it? Here it is. So I'm traveling the yarn up the sides. So can you see how see how we've got the little loops across that final stitch? I actually don't care about that, but you may. If you do care about it, you could just do a crochet border and just make sure you catch that loop into the border. But I personally think it looks fine. But yeah, that's on both ends, because that's just how I'm carrying the yarn between the rows. Where am I up to? Where's my hook? Where is my yarn? There it is. But you could absolutely use it as a baby blanket. It would look amazing. Yeah. Possibly for my entertainment. That was possibly why I did that. I was just curious if I could see through it. But yeah, this is just a linen stitch in 3 colors. I'm sure there's probably a YouTube video out there that explains exactly the carrying process. I'm just kind of doing what feels nice. I'm not really following any plan. I just know that if you have 3 colors, you can alternate them quite easily. Now, if you wanted to make them change around a bit, I think you can go with the 4 colors will do that. 4 colors will change their orders a little bit. But the 3 colors means you get the nice, neat, and even color change up the side. So I went with 3. But you could always do some little swatches and see what you think, like some little 10 stitch or 12 stitch swatches, and just see how they come up with the color changing up the sides. Bianca says, I have some lace weight linen I could do this with. Absolutely. But these are very small stitches, and it does take time. Now, admittedly, you are working into chain spaces mostly, so it does make it a bit easier usually. She says struggling to get into chain spaces right now. But yeah, it's very small stitches, takes some time. What size hook are you using? I'm toying with the idea of another sock yarn scrap blanket. I'm using a 3mm right now. You would need to test it out. Maybe for sock yarn, you go a 2.5, maybe. Give it a test. But yeah, 3mm would make it a little bit open. Not too open, but just, a little bit. And bring you under that. Alrighty, changing colors. One, that into the first space. And off we go to the next color. And look, I do a little dance with all the yarn balls at the end of each row. And it's just purely so they don't get all tangled up, right? Because you've got 2 balls attached. Well, actually all 3 balls are attached, but 2 balls are attached to the row you're working on right now. And so just trying to keep them from becoming a jumbly mess. Do whatever you got to do. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. And, I learnt from the first couple of rows, just do it every row. Don't try and wait a few rows. Just switch them over. And I'm just using a cotton here, but it doesn't mean you can't use something like an acrylic. John says, 3 more weeks until my job closes and I become a self-employed day trader. Ooh. Hey, John, has this stock market thing been a little bit scary, or is it like part of the excitement of it? Because I don't know much about day trading, but I would think that like with a volatile stock market, it could either be like intensely awesome or not. I don't know. I don't see how many rows of each. It's just one row at each time. So I go to the end of the next row and change colors, and go to the end of the next row and change colors. It's just one row of each color at a time. So let me just bring this up so you can see here. I've gone like blue, peach, purple, blue, peach, purple, blue, peach, purple, blue, peach, purple. It's just one row of each color. That's the advantage of having the 3 colors, is you don't have to come back to change color. You just change it at the end of the row. Trying to be good and finish my whips, but I am fighting the urge to start knitting baby stuff. Grandchild due early in November. Have you, like, I'm going to enable you here right now just to prepare you. Have you got any small projects on the go? Because baby projects are usually quite small, and you might need a palette cleanser when you're working on some bigger projects, and have a small project handy just to pick up and work on. Yeah. Oh, okay, there you go. Day trading thrives on the volatility. Oh, that's good. That's great. I'm glad, because I was a little worried. I didn't, because as I said, I don't understand how it works. And so I'm glad that will work for you. So that's cool. John says, I'm learning and experimenting, so I've lost some money, but I think it'll work out. I hope so. I hope so. Especially when this becomes sort of more your actual like day-to-day income that you'll need for, groceries and power and all the other things that comes to, living expenses. But I'm also glad that you enjoy doing it as well. So that is cool. And we've got this here. Keep it going. I've actually gotten a few rows done today, which I'm pretty happy about. Any tips on keeping the ends straight? Like, um, oh, I'm sort of looking at it thinking they just were straight. But I would say that when you get to the end of a row, which is where are we at? We'll get there. But when you get to the end of the row, I don't work into the chain space. I work into the chain loop up here. So I don't actually work into the chain space. So I grab the previous stitch and work into the top of that. And I think that's what's keeping it. I mean, I wouldn't say it's perfectly straight, but it's keeping it pretty even. But whatever it is that you do, keep doing that. All right. Thank you, Leanne. You're right. I do need to hydrate. And Bob, with you moving and packing, you really need to be hydrating. Mm. That's a good point, John. That's an excellent point. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong is they're like, oh well, I'm making all this extra money, and they like go crazy and sort of like amp up their lifestyles and buy, live in more expensive apartments and like increase all their monthly costs. Whereas if you're used to the lifestyle that you have, everything on top of it's cream and gravy for the future. But yeah, when I get to the end here, I'll bring in the close up cam, and I will show you where I'm going in and how I turn. Which is, it's not hard. It's just it might be easier to show you than to try and describe it before I get there. But yeah, and that's not to say this is the only way to do it. This is just how I'm doing it. And so if you like how the little ends look on mine, then it and you want that for the future and for yarn. Yes. It's like, oh yes. Like I see those little memes that float around. It's just like when I win lotto, I won't tell anyone, but there'll be signs, and they're just laying in like a bathtub full of hand-dyed sock yarn. You know. Like if I won lotto, I would buy a new house, preferably on the Sunshine Coast. That's where I would love to live. It's not too far away. It's like an hour away, hour and a half. I don't want to be on the water. I would like to be up the hinterland a little bit. Still get the coast breezes, but not the risk. Oh, I didn't do a chain there. I'll have to squeeze that in between those stitches. It's really important to remember the chain between the stitches, or it gets squishy. So yeah, so I would probably buy a house up on the coast. I don't know what else I'd do differently, honestly. You know how some people are like, I'd quit working, and I probably wouldn't. I like working. Um, I'd probably travel a bit more. Yeah, up near you, Monday. I think so. I think so, Francis. Up that way. John says, yeah, I nearly earned a week's pay this morning before I finished my coffee, and there will be more yarn. Yeah, like because you've got to allow for the days where you have a less than stellar day. So you need to have the ability to have things balance. But yeah, more yarn. But yeah, if I would probably not restrict myself quite so heavily on the yarns that I buy. If I won lotto, I mean, obviously this depends on how much lotto we're talking, right? Is it life changing or just getting out of debt lotto? Like, what's the plan here? Oh, John has a plan. Hang on, let me have a look here. Francis actually her plans first, which is quit work and do some world travels. And John's plan is to buy a house in 2 years. I hate working, so I'm gonna go get back into shape, take road trips, and spend more days with my kids. Yeah, I like that. I like that. But yeah, I would take on more work that I enjoy that may not pay quite so well. And I would um and not be full time. No, 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 no. Just part time. And I would um I, like I say I would take on different work. I'm actually really enjoying the work that I'm doing right now, and I don't think I would change any of that. Like I could win lotto today, and I believe I would still continue working, especially for the two main clients that I'm working for. I like working for both those guys, or both those teams, I should say, and they're not full time, and it's just chill. I would probably keep doing pretty much exactly what I'm doing, just in a different location, and maybe with a bit more travel included, and some extra yarn hauls. That's about it. I think that's all I'd change. And there might be the occasional poolside live stream, like, I wanted to sit down here today, and so we're going to stream from here, like that would probably be it. That would probably be it. Oh, I just about had a heart attack then. I saw something like moving right in my hand, like just under my hand. Oh, there's the chain there. Yes, and I'm just like, my brain instantly went bug. Not a bug. It's a stitch marker. Oh goodness me. We're nearly at the end of the row here. Keep going, Chantelle. All the way to the bottom of the jar. Now you're going to think it's kind of funny when I get to the end and I'm like, yeah, just kind of jab it in, like into the stitch. It doesn't matter where. Just not the chain space. This is actually one of those really good projects. If you just need something to do, that is not like brain difficult, but then is still visually beautiful. Um, that's one of the things I love about this particular stitch, is that it's not difficult to do, but it is very pretty. And you can work on it in the round. You can make a cowl with it. You can make a blanket with it. It's basically like fabricating. We're just making a really pretty fabric, and you can turn it into just about anything. You just need an even number of stitches. I'd have to sit for a good while just to think about how much luck I just have. Okay. Oh, I think I missed something here. John says, "Yeah, I'd start posting blanket shots from the Caribbean. You'll know the trading went well." Yeah. The amount of times I've whacked bits of yarn on the floor because they were pretending to be a spider. I know, right? I'd have to sit on it for a good while to think about how much luck I just had. Oh, I think so, Leanne. You'd want to make smart decisions, right? You don't want to make knee-jerk quick decisions, but smart decisions. Oh, skipped a stitch. Come back, you lunatic. There we go. Alrighty, we are coming up to the final Let me bring in the close-up cam. Close-up camera. That's our song. That's our song. Alrighty. Are you going to focus close-up camera? No, it's not going to focus. Come on. We've got some stuff here to do. We need you to focus. Can you see clear enough to see what I'm doing there? No, it's being a total butt face. Alrighty, I think that's the best we're going to get. So see here how on the side there's a color change. So we've gone from the peach to the purple, and now we're in the blue. So I kind of want to get into that peach and purple stitch there. Oh, can you focus? Like, thanks for zooming in and still not being focused. Are you dirty? Is that the problem? You're not dirty. Alrighty, there we go. So we want to get in under here, under this purple bar, and go through that stitch where the purple is. Okay, and you do your single crochet there, and then you drop that yarn to bring your other yarn to the front, because there's only other one yarn on this end. Bring that to the front and do a single crochet, chain, and then flip your work, and then hold the previous yarn tight, grab the right yarn, there we go, and then you do another chain, loosened up, and then single crochet into the space from the previous row, come across and single crochet again. It's being a blurry bum, but there you go. That's how I get that edge. So I hope that helped. We'll go away from, like, seriously, like, why do you have to be so painful? Like, why couldn't you just be nice like that all the way through? Awful, frustrating. Maybe back over here. Let's have a look here. Game Winners is back. You could see it. Oh, that's good, Isabel. Sorry, that's good. I'm excited. I think I've figured out a new way to manage my yarn when I'm doing corner to corner. Oh, that's good. Okay, the purple is over there. That's everything. Is you to there, and you to there. Alrighty. I put a ribbon storage bin. Come back here. I missed part of that. Bring it back up. I'm using a ribbon storage bin to put my yarn spools in. Okay. Well, if that's working, that's awesome. You got to do a dance when things are working. But that's really it, Isabel. I'm not doing anything special to manage the ends, really. But I'll tell you one thing. If you forget to bring the yarn forward, you end up with an extra long one later. So these, see how these are fairly short and tight? That one's an extra long one. It's because it didn't get twisted in. So you just got to make sure that when you're working, you bring the yarn to the front and then work it. And that just tidies up the edge a little bit of the strands. But obviously, I wasn't going to go back and fix that. I'm slack. Also, this is for me. And this is the bottom edge of a t-shirt that probably on the inside that probably no one's ever going to see. So I'm not too worried about it. If it becomes an issue, I'll add a border or an edge. My cable end just fell off into the footwell of my car. Oh no. That's frustrating. So just a reminder for everybody here, this Saturday, so Saturday my time, maybe Friday evening if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, there will be a members live call on Discord. So that is channel members, coffee levels and above can jump in and come and hang out. So if you aren't a channel member and you want to be a channel member, just down the screen a little bit, there is a join button if you're on a computer. If you're on an iOS device, I highly recommend you jump onto a computer of some description if you want to join anyone's channels. The iOS, I'm not sure if you can even join on an Apple device anymore. I'd have to check. But yeah, it didn't play well. So with fees and what have you, you're better off doing it through a computer. John has been an artisan level member for 41 months. John, you can join the call, being an artisan level. Thank you for being a channel member for 41 months. That is so crazy, honestly. So crazy. Oh, first one, I won't be working, but I'll be at the Easter show. That's kind of annoying. Like, exciting at the Easter show, frustrating. Oh dear. Alrighty. It's typical. Oh, fair enough. I was really hoping we'd get a bit more through this purple. Like, if you could see it, it's like such a dog's breakfast. Like, look at that. I mean, the peach isn't much better, but at least it's kind of like resembling something. Whereas the purple just kind of isn't. I mean, the blue's still ball shaped. Why do your cameras not love you? Were you mean to them lately? I don't know what it is, Leanne. I don't believe I've been mean to them lately. I really don't. Didn't think I did anything. I mean, Logitech's software has been really ticking me off, so I've been making angry noises at that, which is the webcam, this one here. It's this angle. Um, so I currently don't have their software loaded, which would be making a big difference. If I could get the stupid thing to load and to work, that would be amazing. And the continuity cam thing on the phone is just frustrating. Really just is. It's just frustrating. I don't have another word for it. Yeah, I can either have it or not. So, I'm definitely going to be looking, not right now, but when the next camera dies, I'm going to be looking at a different style of camera to replace it. Oh, look, I know working from the outside of the balls means that this doesn't happen. I get it. But I started these are like leftover balls from another project. So I probably like the blue's not the blue I started for this project, but these others are leftovers from that granny square blanket I did earlier in the year. Ruth Young, great to see you in the chat. So yeah, just I know. And look, I could probably still have these attached to this project and grab a little ball winder and wind them, but it's a risk. And I'm just going to work through the bath, honestly. I'm just going to work through the yarn bath and just hope for the best. I prefer to work from the middles of the balls so they don't roll around as much. not so much of an issue at the moment, but when we had Macy, she was a bit of a sheddy cat. So if your ball rolled around, you could get it covered in cat fluffs. So, and Louis not a sheddy boy. And I also got into the habit of it because Snowy used to be very sheddy as well. So between like Snowy and Jazzy, who was also very sheddy, that was when I was like, honing a lot of my crafting skills. I had those two pets. They're both passed on now. Leanne has gifted a channel membership. Look at this. Leanne gifted a channel membership and Bianca got the gifted membership. That is so cool. That is so cool. Thank you for gifting a channel membership. John says, "Oh, a sheddy cat." Oh, my hip just did something awful. Oh, that was painful and not awesome. Oh, a sheddy cat, like a cat that sheds fur everywhere. Mm. Yeah, that's what I mean by a sheddy cat. That stitch is very tight. I'm going to have to redo that one. Okay. And we'll just... Oh, Leanne's going to... Let's try another. Oh, you never know. Because the thing is, it's really bizarre who YouTube gift the memberships to. It's not always people that watch the live streams, which I just think is a little different. Oh, no. Sheddy. Yeah, all right. I get it now. Sorry, John. Yeah. Oh, no. Leanne's going in with another gifted membership. And it was gifted to a million. So another gifted membership from Leanne. Champion. Thank you, Leanne. And it went to Amelia Nicole, who, while she's not here today, she is quite often in the live stream chats. Or at least if she might be lurking. But yeah, she quite often jumps in. So that's very cool as well. Thank you, Leanne. You're very generous with your gifted channel memberships. And those with the gifted channel memberships, these are at artisan level, which means that you can join into the Fiberific Discord call on Saturday if your account is all set up and ready on Discord already. So basically, you just need to jump over to the Fiberific Discord and make sure that you've got your YouTube your YouTube account connected on your Discord, and it automatically gives you access to the extra areas that are for channel members only. So yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. Thank you, Leanne. That's very generous. Oh, that is for something else. I'm like, I know this looks like rubbish, and it will be rubbish, but it's not rubbish yet, okay? I'm still looking at it like that's my other project. It's nearly like a reminder to go and work on the other project. Believe it or not, I started it much late. Actually, it'll be very easy to believe. Trust me. I started it much later after this one, and it's well further ahead. Why? Because I'm doing it in the pattern that the designer suggested, which is clusters of trebles. And they are just so much taller, and they just, it just much quicker, so much faster. Goodness me. Yeah, nearly at the end of another row. posted pic updates to Discord. Thanks, John. Can't wait to go and check that out. I'll go and grab some photos of this and add them onto Ravelry. And I realized I don't think my other sneaky pattern, my sneaky version of this is on Ravelry yet. I was kind of keeping it off because I was going to keep it a surprise, and then I couldn't. It didn't work. I was just going to wear it one stream. And then I didn't. I told you that I'm working on it. It's not a surprise anymore. Oh, coming up to Purple Row. And then very soon I'm going to have to decide what I'm going to have for lunch. Oh, no, you finished the roast. Now you can go, well, I mean, hopefully it doesn't fall off the end, that there's enough, space so that you can go searching for the end stopper without risking your project. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point, Bianca. You can all pretend to be surprised. Oh, John says, I can't wait to wash this blanket. Yeah, I get that way with some of the big, like the Queen, I felt that way about. Because it was just so big and I'd been working on it for so long that it just had that smell. There's a smell, isn't there? And it's just like, even though I worked on it here, on just years of handling. Oh, it is longer. Oh, that's good. That's good. That over to the middle, purple to there, and then no, it's just a single crochet, Chantelle. All right, just keep going, going. Yes, that's what I'm doing. All right. Yeah, and that's right, John. Every centimeter, every millimeter of the yarn is coming through your hands. And whether you wash your hands regularly or not, it's still going to, yeah, absolutely. It's still going to, your skin oils and cells and bits and bobs, your hair, like whatever, is going to end up in your project. And so it just needs a good wash. And those bigger projects, I think I agree with you, John. They're just worse for it. They definitely are. Yeah, Leanne just dropped a link to my projects list on Ravelry. You can go and check out what I'm currently working on, what I've finished out of the projects that I remembered to add to Ravelry. I'm getting better at it. I've got my Kelly voice in my head. Reminding me to update things on Ravelry. Dizzy, oh my goodness, a blast from the past jumping into the chat. Good to see you. Oh, thank you. So for those wondering what this project actually is, if you go and check out my Ravelry queue, this is my version of the Tide Pool top, which looks to be a beautiful top, hopefully. a beautiful design, but I have adapted the stitches. I went with the linen stitch rather than their suggested stitch for this one. Oh, that link encountered an error, did it? There's also a link in the description. Oh, it did too. Look at that. Let me just my projects. There we go. This one might work. I say might. Hang on, it's got a pile of search terms in there. I'm just getting rid of those. There you go. That might work. Oh yeah, Leanne. Those people that there's people out there, believe it or not, that actually believe that if you wash a project, if you wash your blanket or whatever before you gift it, it's no longer new. And you're just like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm sorry, are you wearing like lint-free gloves and in a sterile environment when you're making this thing? No, you're not. So it needs washing before you gift it. Oh, that link worked. Thanks. Cool. Thank you for letting me know. But yeah, I don't get it. Oh, and Kelly, my muscle hat, muscle, whatever. It's here. I was tossing up which one to work on, but I had them both here in case, in case I decided I wanted to knit instead of crochet today. So I'm currently up to about 30 centimeters. According to the pattern project, I get to 40, and then I need to start casting. I need to start the decrease. So that's where that one's up to. So it's just off to the side a little bit. This color is so just off. I can't describe it. What have I done there? Something there. It's standing out as incorrect. Oh, look, there's a difference between that person that grabs it, like is like, oh my God, she finished it and puts it on their head and runs away. That's a different thing, right? But if you're like doing the whole wrapping it up and gifting it thing, like, yeah, that's just a big pile of ooh. Yeah, ooh gross. Ooh gross is correct. Yeah. I'm starting the decreases on mine. Quite exciting to see how much of a tail I'll have left. Yeah. Dizzy says, I know it's time to frog. Really? What are you frogging? I'm not frogging this. No, not for that. That's just that'll block out. That'll totally block out. That'll be fine. And this is also just for me, so I actually don't care that much. And what I think it is there was a point where I missed a chain and I had to just work between two stitches, and I think it was just that. That's what it looks like. If I just bring that over and bring... Oh, see, there it is. That what I've done, I can show you what I've done, is rather than stitch into the chain space, I accidentally stitched into the top of the stitch. I don't even know if you can see that. Like, I'm pointing out something that's so... I was just happened to be on an angle where I noticed it. So instead of into the chain space, I accidentally got the top of the stitch there. But I'm not going to pull that out. If it was for somebody else or as a professional piece, absolutely, I would. But for me, yeah. Deb, see you later. Have a good one. Proof that it's handmade. Well, it's crocheted for a start. There's no machines that crochet. But yes, I agree. Every piece of crochet that you see in a store is handmade. If it's actual crochet, it's handmade. Ruth says, ooh, I like the Mandela one you did. Which are you over on my project page, Ruth? Leanne, we're just going to leave it. I'm not frogging back that many rows to fix up something that I really do have to go like this. Like, oh yeah, where is that? Over there. So a little this, and we all know this cotton fluffs up a little bit over time. It'll be fine. I'll Bruce over on my project page. Let me have a look. Which Mandela one are we talking? Is it called Mandela? Did I call it Mandela, or am I looking for something else? The Mindful Me one. All right, let me have a look. Oh yeah, that was so much fun. I did that as a workshop with the designer of it actually. And I've got a kit of them. I've made a few of them. If you click on it, there's a couple there that I've made. But yeah, the Loopy Stitch did a workshop at a craft what do they call that craft show? Crafts Alive. It was a Crafts Alive, and she was there doing it, and it was so fun. She's not frogging. I'm going to write this down. I just put my hand on it. I can't even see what you're talking about. Okay, you've convinced yourself. Well done. Oh, oh gosh, you think you guys are terrible. Oh, thank you for encouraging me to get into Tunisian. I'm really enjoying it. Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. I love it. I have so much fun with it. And just keep an eye out. There are so many designers out there. There's so many amazing designs. Kim Guzman wrote a couple of really great books to get some really fun stitches. And she's also the person that just reminds people that, like, there's some people that are like, oh, you never do any extra stitches on a return pass. Oh no, you never turn Tunisian. And she's like, actually, there's a few instances where you do turn Tunisian. So, you know, don't stop telling people you never turn doing Tunisian. And it was just like, yeah, like we just don't happen to be turning it for this stitch. Let's have a look here. Yeah, lots of bear poking today. I agree with that. Like, really? Is it necessary? This Spin Girl says, I thoroughly enjoyed making the Fibrific design face wash. It was actually sad when I'd finished it. Well, I'm glad that it was clear enough. I mean, I do have to go in and upload the new version, which thank you for reminding me again. I'll get that done. But yeah. I wish I could make that cardi you have. I lost all my yarn magazines in 2015 flooding. Which cardi are you talking about? You guys are going into my projects, and I'm like, I don't know what you've. I'm not quite sure which cardi you're talking about. If you can tell me what I called the project, I can bring it up and I can find it. But, just trying to think if there was a cardi I made from a yarn magazine. I don't think there was. Was there? I don't know. You let me know. Oh, the pink Jenny King, the Autumn Wind cardi. Oh, I don't think I got that in a yarn magazine. I just got that from. I just bought that off Ravelry. But yeah, that's such a pretty cardi, and it was so easy to make, and it sits very nicely. But yeah, I think I got that. I'm just seeing. Oh, okay, no, that is. Oh, okay, so she sold the rights to it. So it is in the yarn magazine now. Oh, that's frustrating. Gosh. Yeah, yeah, that's right. It used to have, like, when designers sell the rights to a pattern, they sell the rights to the patent. So yeah. See you in the Discord, Bianca. So just as another reminder before we head off, I'm just going to bring it over here. Just as a reminder before we head off, this Saturday or Friday evening, if you're on the northern upside, we will be having our channel members Discord call. So if you're a channel member in one of the coffee tiers, you'll have access to our call. Your comment popped up. Yeah, I can bring the comments on screen. Game Widows is currently working on her Bendigo making list, trying to remember everything so I can add them. Oh, wow. That is awesome. That is so cool that you're leading up for that. Alrighty, everybody. I'm also going to bail for today, and I will catch you all here this time, like 10 a.m. next Thursday, Brisbane time or southeast of Australia time. I'm not quite sure what time it is where you are. And Saturday is 10 a.m. Brisbane time Saturday. So the time this stream started today, so 2 hours ago now, but on Friday if you are in the US time zones. But I will go in and make sure that's all scheduled into the Discord as well, so that it should be, but I'll go in and double check it. It was great seeing you all, and some old friends are jumping in today too. It was so good to see you, Ruth and Dizzy, for jumping in. And Bub, I hope your move goes really well. I will catch you all next week. Bye now. I need the button.